I am near Cortez, Colorado, and I am at one of the smallest and most mysterious of all the national parks in the United States, and that is the Yucca House National Monument. Yucca House National Monument is literally in the front yard of a family's home and ranch off a long gravel road from the highway. And there's a boardwalk into the front gate. Yeah, this is not like the grand entrance signs you'll see at Mesa Verde or other national parks and monuments, but it is pretty fitting for what it is. Now let's head through the cattle guard gate and explore what little there is to see at Yucca House National Monument. While all there appears to be is a few mounds of rubble, and that is kinda all there is, this is actually one of the largest Puebloan archaeological sites in Colorado. Now there's a lot of Puebloan sites around here, but the thing with this one is that there is very little visitors can actually see. The most prominent visible ruin of Yucca House is the stabilized wall, which provides a glimpse at the impressive masonry work of the Puebloan builders, although very little of their work survived the tests of time. This ground was an important community center for the ancestral Puebloan people from about 1150 to 1300 CE. In the year 1200, this area would have looked very different. There would be families tending to the farms and doing other activities, and meetings in the hundreds of kivas that were here. Like other Puebloans in the region, they abandoned their homes at Yucca House around 1300 and moved farther south, and so Yucca House was taken over by the elements, and that's how it's remained. You can actually climb on top of the wall since it's covered with dirt. Centuries later, archaeologist W.H. Jackson of the Hayden Geological Survey of 1871 first came across the Yucca House ruins, and several archaeologists have come to survey and attempt to map the site since. Clearly it's never been fully excavated. It's largely been left in its unaltered condition besides the stabilization of the one wall. On December 17, 1919, Yucca House was established as a national monument by President Woodrow Wilson. My understanding is that some of the monuments established at that time were intended for research, not for public visitation, and I think that was the case with this one. This may well be the least visited national park, besides Hohocampima where the public isn't even allowed. Only a couple hundred people venture out here each year, but to be honest, this can't even compete with nearby Mesa Verde, Hovenweep, Aztec Ruins, or Chaco Canyon. What looks to be an earthwork over there is part of the Western Complex. That structure had over 600 rooms and 100 kivas. That would have been huge, but it's mostly gone and totally covered in vegetation. Also on property there is another site called the Lower House that was 200 by 15 feet, but it's mostly invisible to the eye, but it's somewhere around here. I will say, some interpretive signs that locate where things are would help to understand and imagine the complex. That is Ute Mountain in the distance, which peaks at 9,980 feet. Its name given by the local Ute tribe translates to mountain with much yucca growing on it, so that's where the name Yucca House comes from. By the way, that's Mesa Verde in the background. I do have some videos of Mesa Verde, and Mesa Verde National Park is now the caretaker of Yucca House. There's an old shed right outside the property. That's probably been here since the monument was established. Look at that, there's some cacti. You gotta watch your step walking around here. It is very bizarre having a national park unit like this just in a private family's front yard. It almost feels a little intrusive. Well, that was Yucca House National Monument. It's interesting, but clearly there's not much to it. Only a die-hard national park explorer like myself is gonna make the trip out here. Like I mentioned, Yucca House is only accessible by driving a few miles on gravel roads off Highway 491. And there have been attempts by the local landowners to restrict and stop the few visitors to the site, but those efforts have luckily been unsuccessful. Still, Yucca House has maintained its national monument designation for over 100 years now, whereas others have fallen. And there is now an expansion plan. The owners of nearby property have offered to donate 160 acres to the monument's 33 acres, and in 2020 that plan passed the House and Senate and was signed by President Trump. So it looks like there's going to be more to Yucca House soon, and possibly even some facilities such as interpretive signage and a bathroom. So hopefully that will come to fruition and usher in a new golden era of Yucca House National Monument. Please check out my other videos on more sizable national parks and monuments, as well as other historic sites in Colorado and across America. And thanks for watching!